Hello, friends. You guys are here mighty fast this time. Welcome. Usually takes a minute, like, after I tweet stuff, for people to suddenly appear. But how is everybody? How you guys doing? We're just gonna draw a thing. Let's start doing that now. As is the customary maneuver. Wait. Work rate, please. I'm gonna say I started off drawing a thing way too big already. Work rate. Wait, don't be like this. Oh my gosh. I have to restart perk rate. Give me a second. I'm still here. Just don't want y'all to see other secret things I'm doing. Perk rate opens up all my stuff. No spoilers. Glad to hear you're doing good though. Work rate is in fact already being a butt. It's true. This leg is far too large. I don't know what I was thinking. What was he thinking? Means I can make everything else a little bit bigger though. Bring that down some. Work rate, please. I think it's because it's so hot. The work rate is like having a hard time figuring out what is and is not my hand. Because this always happens to me like when it gets warmer. I nearly forgot what time it was for the stream today. I've been reading some stuff about DnD. My friends and I play, and we like kind of got to the end of the thing we were playing this past week. It's like in the way that like when you beat a video game and it's like technically you killed the big bad, like you did the thing you were on your quest to go do, but there's still some DLC you guys can play. Like we're in that part of it where it's like someone we helped in the very, very end of the game is like, hey, also this isn't the thing I came here for, so You guys can stick around and keep doing that. If you want. But that's where we're at. Who should this be today? Who would be casually leaning? Junior? Alright, let's do a junior. But the question is, do I want to give him a hat or no? Such a struggle. Suppose I will. He looks weird without one. Find here. That. Yeah. So we're like towards the end of our D&D thing, which had me thinking like, oh man, I had that idea for a D&D thing forever ago. Maybe I could convince them to let me try it. Because I've never DM'd before. I don't think they'd be opposed to it. But my friend who's usually the DM seemed like he was excited to do a new thing, so... might do a new thing instead. To be clear. But yeah, I... got the little module thing that I was going to use to sort of build my idea, and reading through it has invigorated my desire to do this campaign. Kind of expression here. Some line up with where the neck should be. There. There. That. Oh wait, Junior. Oh. Gonna get a little muddy in this corner here that you can't really see. Hopefully it's not bad. This. Something like that, I think. Or probably large. I have this as like a balcony, but for Junior it almost makes more sense to just be like a fence. Just like a random fence. Looking snazzy, thank you. I'm glad that you think so. Fence. Maybe like there's slats in between, something like that. That'll give me some fun light stuff to do actually, so. Did want this to be like a curtain though, so. I think I'll still. We'll just say this is what his balcony looks like. I've decided he has a balcony now. That is it. Sounds. Definitely a balcony, yeah. I was trying not to because I try to thickness today. I try to stay consistent with the random details that I give these boys. So now that he has a balcony, I'm gonna remember that he has a balcony. Or at least try to remember that he has a balcony. That one. And yeah, I don't know about this. Large background deck. Not a bad thought. And look at all the cows. I'm gonna try and do, I don't know if I said this out loud. I'm gonna try and do a similar thing to what I did yesterday. Just to kind of try and find that process a little bit. Ah, I forgot to mute my phone. Really just wish fulfillment. Eating junior mints, nice. I commend your word association, I suppose. line I want here. I don't know why, but I just remembered. Like, it just kind of popped into my head. One of the shows that I binge watched over the weekend. Try to do my, like, streaming services on a rotation. So my current thingy is Amazon. I was watching Tales from the Loop. Because the artists that the show based on very good, and I like their work a lot. I was like, I'll check out this show. That seems kind of neat. And it was frustrating. I kept stopping a lot of the time because it's like it's like the Twilight Zone kind of, where like weird stuff just sort of happens with little explanation. It's just like, oh yeah, weird stuff is here in this world, and that's pretty much it. But it was frustrating because every time I would expect someone to make a choice that would be like, yeah, here's how this would go in a like normal quote-unquote story, they would do a thing that would like instantly make me annoyed at them for the choice that they've made. And because it was like, I just realized how far away my microphone was. Hello, welcome. And the other thing about it that's different from like the Twilight Zone is that like, yes, it's sort of an anthology story, but it's like persistent also. So like each episode will focus on like a different character in this town, but like the episodes that precede it still have a narrative weight to the events of the episodes that you're watching. So like something in episode 2 affects something that happens in episode like 8 and stuff, like that sort of thing. No, it wasn't like a thing that would go against like a character or anything like that. It was just like the choices they would make sense. It was just like an annoying choice that would like result in a number of consequences that would like frustrate me as a person due to dramatic irony and the fact that I was aware of things that other characters in the world were not. Because it was like, if it was me in this situation, I wouldn't have made this choice, and as a result, these problems probably would not have turned out this way. So, like, minor, maybe not minor, but like slight spoilers, I suppose, for anyone who wants to watch that show. I'm just going to talk about episode 2, because it was the point at which I was like, I'm going to hate watching the rest of this, but I'm committed to watching it. So in episode 2, you follow 2 like teens. They're like seniors in high school, and they're like about to graduate or whatever. One of them is like a shy kid, but he does very well in school. And the other kid is his like best friend, who is like the popular guy who is not doing as well in school, right? So it's like about to be graduation time. They're gonna go off and do things. And one day while walking home from school, they come across this like in Dragon Ball Z when like Vegeta and the Saiyans show up and they're in that little pod. It looks like one of those pods. And so like the popular kid is like, haha, get in it, chicken. And the shy kid is like, fine, I will. So he does. And then a like loud sound that I can't tell if it was like in universe or just like a thing to denote that something was happening to the viewers occurs. It's like rushing wind, but like very loudly. So that sound happens, and popular kid is like on the ground in the forest, and he gets up, and then quiet kid gets out of the pod, at which point they both realize, oh, we swapped bodies, whoa, crazy. Right? And so you're like, oh, typical body swapping story. This is gonna be like, they're gonna learn about one another, they're gonna grow closer as friends, you know, like walk a mile in each other's shoes, learn some life lessons type of story. And I guess that's true, but not in a way that like I was okay with. So like, they're like, oh no, is this like, are we like this forever? And this time the popular kid, now in the shy kid's body, gets into the pod and they swap back, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. We can just swap back whenever, so like, let's have some fun with this weird ability that we now have access to, right? Also, Maximus and Donnie, hello. I don't know if I welcomed you both when you came in, but greetings. So, popular kid's like, yeah, it'll be fun. We can like stay like this for just like, you know, a day, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll swap back. It'll be fine. And Shy Kid is like noticeably hesitant about this, but goes along with it because peer pressure. So he's like, fine, sure, we'll do this thing. And the like Shy Kid is basically like, okay, so like, or no, the popular guy is like, so what should I like do? And Shy Kid's like, you know, you could just like hang out or whatever, but like don't get me in trouble and stuff. So he's like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. And let's do surprised. And popular kid says basically the same thing. He's like, all right, yeah, don't get me in trouble. I was in the middle of painting a barn before this, so you should probably go paint that barn now. And Shy Kid's like, okay, I guess I'll go do that. And so they like spend a day in each other's shoes or whatever. You learn a little bit about their families. The Shy Kid, like his family was kind of the focal point for the first episode story. And like each member of that family kind of has their own little story beat that happens because they're like important to the town, kind of. And so yeah, you kind of learn that like obviously the kid who was doing well in school has like, you know, he can go do whatever he wants basically. He has like tons of options afterwards. But he doesn't really want to do those things because he likes to draw. So obviously, I'm already rooting for this kid. I'm like, oh, he's like nice and he draws things. Relatable. I'm talking about a show. I'm talking about a show called Tales from the Loop. Just episode 2 of this show that like frustrated me. But yeah, so you learn that this kid is like, he's talented and also he's kind of smart, so he could do whatever he wants, but he doesn't really like, his family wants him to do a certain thing, but he's like, I want to draw instead. And then you learn that popular guy who isn't doing well in school is probably going to have to work in the quarry when he graduates, and he does not like this option because he's like, I don't want to be busting rocks for the rest of my life. That's lame. And so, you know, fun antics occur. You learn some more about their families, blah, blah, blah. Next day comes around. It's time to change back. Right? So, shy guy shows up and is like, look, like, it's cool, you're cool, but also, I don't like your life. I want my life back. And the popular dude is like, I see your point, and I understand, because I also don't like my life, and like I said, I'm not gonna be breaking rocks until I'm old, so I don't want to change back. And they get in a fight, and Shy Guy's dad comes into the room, because they're at Shy Guy's house, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing fighting my kid? Get out of my house. Not knowing that he's telling his own son to leave because they swap bodies. And so, Shy Guy is now distraught about this, as anyone would be when they literally have their, like... It's like the most extreme version of identity theft, I suppose. So he's like super upset. He's like, I guess I'll just try getting back in the pod, and maybe it'll fix everything. And he gets in the pod, and then you cut to the next day, and they're like, yo, he hasn't showed up at school. Like, what's going on? Where's this kid at? Right? It's crazy that, like, popular guy isn't at school suddenly, out of nowhere. And popular guy in Shy Kid's body is like, no, he's probably fine. He's just, like, sick or something. I don't know. It's not my problem. He's just, like, a huge jerk about it. Because it's like they were best friends, and now he just doesn't care. Rude. And so, this hand is too big. I don't like what's happening with this arm. And so eventually he decides to go, this is maybe like a day and a half later at this point, he decides to go and like investigate the pod in the woods. And he finds his body in the pod, like just lifeless, kind of laying there, and he's like, oh my god, something's wrong, my friend. Now he suddenly cares and is like, help. Somebody help. And so they bring popular kid's body to the hospital because he's like comatose now. He's like in a coma or whatever, basically. And the guy who's actually the popular guy is like, oh man, I feel kind of bad about this, but not that bad, I guess. Because he goes back again later to the pod, and he finds that now because a kid got hurt in this pod, they're disassembling it, and he doesn't stop them. He just like lets it happen. So now he's like permanently in this kid's body, and the kid whose actual body it was, you come to find out, swapped bodies with like a robot that just happened to be in the woods that doesn't talk. So now he's just in this robot body, and the robot, I guess, was in his body, which is why it doesn't work, and he's like in a coma. And then that's it. I was like, what happened? Why? And then, like, because it's episode 2 and everything, like, it's still like a linear story. So, like, they just call this dude by the Shy Kid's name, thinking it's him, because why would they not think that? But every time, it's still the dude. Like, it's still his jerk friend who left him to die. I'm like, why? I hate this show. This sucks. So, like, character things like that happen throughout consistently. And I'm like, everyone in this town is awful. I hate them all so much. Where it's like, you have a choice to be a not terrible person, and you choose to be the terrible person anyway. A lot of the time. The show's called Tales from the Loop. It's got a lot of, like, neat aesthetic type things. Like, it's still interesting to watch. But yeah, it was so frustrating to me. I was like, man, everyone stop being terrible. No, it's on Amazon. 'cause the finger's too long. But yeah, like some of it is neat to watch. Like I said, it's based on the works of an artist that I really enjoy, who does a lot of like, it's kind of like dystopian future Americana, I guess. I don't really have like, I'm not super good with like terms, so I can't fully like identify what you would call it, but it's like, imagine like an Americana landscape style painting, but there's just like one or two really random weird sci-fi things in it that are just inexplicable. And that's the aesthetic of the show. It's just like a bunch of weird stuff is here. Nobody really has any like explicit reason for it, it just is. No, this is not a younger junior, it's just regular junior. What was the other? The other thing I watched. I finally watched the Critical Role cartoon, which is pretty good. Someone who hasn't seen the first campaign like at all, because I can't be bothered to go back and rewatch it. I enjoyed it. You don't need to have like a full understanding of the characters, I suppose, but I guess I still kind of knew who they were a little bit. And the other one was The Wheel of Time. I didn't expect to like that show, and then it ended, and I was like, oh man, I would like to watch more of this. So, I'll probably be keeping that one on my radar for a little while. Work rate, please. Sometimes if I like scribble and do other stuff, it'll like suddenly decide to work. Not one of those times, apparently. There we go. Oh, latte. Lattes? Lattes? Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but greetings. Sorry, I'm like, I was on a whole rant about that other show, so now I'm finally scrolling through chat. Oh, you finished a research paper, nice. Congrats. What was your topic of research? What did you learn about? Sizzle, hello. And I'm good, latte. Latte? I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. I'm gonna call you Latte though. But I'm good. I hope you're also doing well. Might pop off. Hey, well thanks for sticking around for as long as you have. Back from a con. Nice. Was it PAX? I had such FOMO for PAX this time. Because I didn't go, and it's been like forever since I've been to a PAX, and it made me sad. Like I could be having fun. Could be in the queue room. Hitting the big beach balls. I remember the first time I went to PAX East and that happened, and I was like, this is such a wonderful place. I resolved in my mind at that point in time that it was a nice place. And then every year afterwards, we never went to the queue room because it was like a waste of time. We could have been doing like other stuff. Well, it wasn't as big as normal. That's understandable though. Like the first in person after a little while. Played a lot of D&D. Nice, nice. Finished playing Pokemon. Cool. I didn't play a lot of Unite. I played it a little bit to understand that it's like League of Legends but less toxic, and then I was like, I get the point. Seems fun. I'm just not into a MOBA at the moment. Yeah, it feels like it's been ages since an in-person PAX. It was nice to see that they're still offering the merch online though, because I was like, oh man, I can still get the pins if I want. But I'm running out of space on my pin board, so I don't think I will get any for a while unless I see one that's like I must have. Plus I kind of don't like the theme this year for the merch stuff. Which is weird because I really usually like space things. I don't know, just the aesthetic wasn't really pulling. Didn't really grab me. See you later, thanks for hanging out. Do I wanna? Kinda do, but I also don't, so I don't think I will. I wasn't sure if I wanted to fill that in with like black or not. I decided against it. Yeah. That was like the main reason that I never played ranked in that game. Was just because people are like way too serious about it. I was like, if I'm gonna get yelled at for being bad, I'm not gonna play, and it's just gonna make me even worse. So I'm just not gonna even subject myself to that circumstance. It's been a while since I've played it though, because I'm pretty sure playing it as often as I was while also drawing as often as I was like giving me major like wrist strain. I was like, if I have to pick one thing, I'm picking drawing, obviously, because why would I choose League? I was like so ignorant of everything in that game, but I learned with a lot of friends also at the same time, so we were all like on the same team being bad together. So when people would try to insult us, we were all just like equally amused and confused, and they would be in the minority of the people in the game, so it wasn't like as disheartening. But also it was like fairly early on in the game's life. We weren't like since beta. We were pretty early. And then after that it was just like pretty much exclusively ARAMs for me. I can't be bothered to keep up with like patch notes and who's good and what items are good and all that stuff. I was like, this is like a whole other job. Gotta read documents. Play this game? I don't think so. Not for me. Just pick the random one where I don't have to think as hard. And people are still kind of toxic in that mode, but not as much. Since you have less control over stuff. I don't know if I want this to be like a soft edge or defined. I guess I kind of to be a little more defined. This is like where his deltoid muscle is. I'm debating on if I want it to be like a defined like bit in here, or if I want it to just be like a smooth smooth curve. Yep. Smite was neat. The reason I didn't get into Smite was because I was into League at the time, so I was like, I barely have enough brain to memorize items and who's good at what in this one game. I can't possibly do that for 2 games at once. Which is why I never really stayed on to Smite. Although I suppose, since I'm not really playing League, I could go back to it if I really wanted to, but kind of don't really want to, unfortunately. Embarrass them. Yeah, that's like, unfortunately, the thing that League does to everyone. Like at first you're a kind human being with emotions and concerns about your other fellow human beings. And then after a few games, suddenly it's not important anymore what other people feel. They're hindering your gameplay experience and are therefore terrible people. And then everyone's like, oh, I wonder how this game got so toxic. I feel like that's the progression for like any online competitive game though. I don't like this being close. Good. Oh. Hang on. I think I might move his index finger down some as well. Can't stop thinking about my D&D idea. I want to talk about it, but I also don't want to talk about it. On the very off chance that any of my friends watch this stream later. I want it to be spoiled. I have many dumb surprises in mind. Very good. The game, not my idea. My idea is like okay at best, I suppose. I feel like I always get like really into my ideas about D&D, and then in practice I'm like, oh wait, this is a lot actually. Maybe I don't want to do that. Like the character before my current character was like this really, really interesting idea, but I just could not be bothered to keep up with it, so it kind of fell flat on the execution part. And then afterwards I was like, this is a lot. I'm just gonna be a barbarian who doesn't care about anything and is dumb. Best decision I've made. You love a big dumb bugbear. Homebrew game, nice, nice. Love to see it. More of a Pathfinder person. My first tabletop RPG was Pathfinder, but I went like way ham with the healing stuff because I was like, I like playing support characters, I'll be a healer. And I picked a character, optimized that character into like such a state that like all I was doing was healing. It became very unfun for me because I was like, I can't do anything until people start dying, because all of my abilities were like healing based. Also Rose, hello. Let me turn on drawing guide for a second. Drawing assist. Straight lines. Art here. Much. Yeah, I really liked my older idea. It just kind of fell through because I'm lazy. But the idea for that character was feel free to use this idea in your games as well if you're not as lazy as I am and commit to all of the character voices involved. But they were a changeling, only they were cursed, so that they could only change their form into one of 4 forms, and each form had its own like personality. So they were like, it was like a multiple personality thing. And so the way that it worked was that after every long rest, or at the start of each day, or whenever the DM decided it was funniest or whatever, I would roll a d4, and then the number corresponding to that d4 was which of the personalities I got for that day. And to make it slightly more interesting, it was a warlock, and the DM was gracious enough to allow me to do the real extra move of making it so each of the personalities had a cantrip that was unique to them. So like one of them had like what's that one? One of them had the one that's like, the heck was the name of that spell? The one that does like no damage, but it makes it so the next thing that hits it is a crit or something. I don't know, it's been a while since I've had to use spells. Like I said, I'm a barbarian now. But yeah, so like one of them had like friends, and none of the other personalities could use friends or whatever that spell is. So that was like an interesting way of like, depending on what the dice decided for that play session or whatever, was how I had to try and solve problems. But yeah, I inevitably got like tired of keeping up with character voices for all of those characters. So it became harder for me even to keep track of like who was who and doing what. It probably could have worked out eventually, but the campaign itself ended up kind of falling through. We started a new one. But on paper it was like, oh yeah, so cool. And his like true personality was like a fifth one that I could never possibly roll. It was just a thing that the DM would decide I would get. So whenever it was like story appropriate, I would have like the character's actual personality who was trying to not have this curse afflict them. No, little boy. They won't talk to you. Oh no! Sorry to hear that. Maybe they were just intimidated by how cool you are. You're just too cool for them. I'm not sure if I want to do that like thing I've been doing where it's, oh no, this isn't gonna work. Where it's like this style of eyes. Tiefling bard rogue from a harem that's good at dancing. Nice. Potato Scorpio. I'll take your word for it. Lost 3 pounds. Nice, congrats. Oh yeah, that's right. You said you were on your diet thing. How's your diet been going? I mean, I guess it's going well if you lost 3 pounds. I have no idea how this is going to look, by the way, this eye that I'm currently doing. It'll either be really cool or really lame. We'll find out together. little smaller. Difficult, but you're hanging on. You can do it. I believe in you. Believe in the me that believes in you, as they say. Too big. I think there's a stink bug room. It's windy. Blinds are hitting things. It's the second thing. I don't want to have to bug. I don't like have a fear of bugs. I just really don't like dealing with bugs when they appear. It's always like a thing, you know? Like, ugh. I have to like get up and do something. About this creature that suddenly decided to inhabit my zone. Don't know if this goatee is gonna work out the way I think it's. Thought I'd be okay with the little. Up on my layer, okay. Okay. I think this is fine. Now we gotta pick up palette. I want a warm one. Did a cool one yesterday. One of these two. Here's the plan. How I tried this yesterday is basically filling in all the line black and the whole background as a single color. Did that on the wrong layer. I tried like coloring in the background, but I decided against it when I tried yesterday. So what the process will be like for this time is put in all this stuff, I'm like also if there was a bug or no. Paper alert. Oh, there was. Hold on. Move this bug. Okay, I'm back. That's the thing about the weather suddenly becoming warm. All these bugs that were around are suddenly awake and annoying again. It's like, man, you guys just like chill. I gotta like put you outside. Need to start losing weight. I have no desire to change. I understand. I too feel that I should get in shape. I went on a trip recently and had to like run through the airport because one of my flights got delayed and I didn't want to miss my connection. And it was like the most active I've been in a number of years. And let me tell you, it was exhausting. My calves were on fire for like 3 whole days. It was a lot. And then at that point I was like, man, I should probably get in shape or something. But no. Too much work. I think I want this to be more decide. The other thing about this style that I'm working with for this one is I want these to be angular, like as angular as possible. Guess I could follow that same line here. I feel like I would like exercise or like go to a gym or whatever. If not for the fact that it like takes time to do. There's already so many other things I would rather be doing with my day that I don't have time to do. To the point where it's like, even considering exercise is always like, oh man, but that's like 17 other things I could be doing instead. That don't involve me being tired after. Or, well, at least not like physically exhausted. Like I could be doing video games or drawing or watching shows. Empire. Go to the gym, play Wii Sports, do some dancing. Those all sound like much better alternatives than just going to the gym, to me personally. Like at least the last two sound like you would have fun doing those things. I've been to a gym a handful of times in my life. Never once did I leave the gym thinking, oh man, what a good time I've had. Can't wait to come back here and do this again. Which always inevitably means that I will not, in fact, return at one point or another. Dodge. Oops. Do one more pass of this. Or guy kind of light that's going on back here. Please. Nope. Had it for a minute and lost it. I can never tell if it's Procreate or if it's my iPad that's acting up when that happens. I feel like it could easily. But at this point I just want to hold out until fall. Supposedly. This one can make it through the summer. Get a new one. The unfortunate part is that the summer is usually the hardest. These, they get, at least mine, because I have it. I use all of my like art-related devices in probably the least healthy way for the battery, but max brightness all the time. Never forcing it to like turn itself off unless it has to update or something. I'm very bad at keeping up with my electronics that I use for like art stuff. That reminds you to get up and move around every hour. That's cool. Oh yeah, I guess I should drink. Sitting over here. Stay hydrated, folks. Like good for you or something. But yeah, I was like considering for a while getting like an Apple Watch or something, because I was like, I already have these other Apple products. Maybe I can get this one that'll help me be active and stuff. But then I was like, I don't want to be active. Too lazy. Much rather sit down and not be active instead. And save my money on a thing that I would hate using. I feel like a lot of that stuff is just like habit forming though, like once you sort of get into the habit of doing something, it becomes much less of a pain to do. Kind of like the drawing everyday thing where it was like, after a while it was just sort of like a thing that just happened. It wasn't like, oh man, I should really draw. Well, I mean, it usually kind of felt that way where it was like, I should really draw something. Or like, oh, I need to actually draw something at some point today, but it was seldom like, turn this down more because I'm probably going to put another light on top of this. Here. There. That goes. The key here is that I don't want these lines, like from this line that I just put down and the one from the shape before, I don't want them to be like too parallel, if that makes sense. Don't like this. This, I think. That happened. Didn't think I'd do that. Or it just sort of didn't. Weird. I'm really leaning heavily into the drawing assist features that Procreate has. To get these more rigid lines, shapes. Just sort of putting down the stroke and putting the pen down. Which honestly, like when I've gone to try and learn other programs, this is the feature that I tend to like miss the most in the moment when drawing stuff. Because I've gotten so used to it at this point that like having to use a separate tool to draw a shape or something like that always feels like weird and too many extra steps. Tapping and holding, drawing a shape and shape. Wait, 100 paces an hour. I realized that's a lot. That's a lot of paces. I have used Clip Studio Paint. One of the reasons that I didn't like it as much, especially on the iPad specifically, is because of the UI. Like Clip Studio is very powerful, very good. We love it. But there are so many menus. So when I'm drawing in Clip Studio on my iPad, it feels like half the screen is like menus and stuff. Like, oh, I don't want this here. This happening. Far too many things. This here. But yeah, just like from using Procreate for so long, and having like this very minimal UI, having to use something that had like a more intrusive one, felt like very claustrophobic. Like it felt like I was using so much less of the screen than what I was used to using, that I was like, man, I have all of this screen space, but I'm only using like this little portion of it because all up here is menus and all over here is menus and all over here is menus. So I was like, it was frustrating, which is one of the reasons that I couldn't really stick with it on my iPad specifically. Was just because I was like, I need all the space. When I get a new one, I'll get one with a bigger screen, so I'll probably try it again. But yeah, that was like the biggest thing at the time. But yeah, one of the major reasons is because, or at least I assume, is because Procreate was like developed specifically for iPad, where Clip Studio was made for like PC first, and then just kind of ported over to iPad. Get the sharp angles in a minute. Yeah, so a lot of the like design decisions for Procreate and its UI were specifically with the intention of like, this person's gonna have their fingers and a pencil probably, and that's all that they'll have to be able to do all the things that they need to do with as few menus as possible. Whereas with like Clip Studio and other such products, generally you can have like as big of a screen as you want, or since it'll be like on a desktop or whatever, they kind of assume you'll most likely have a bigger screen to begin with. So they don't necessarily need to consider, I mean they do, obviously, but like it's not as, the real estate is not as hard to come by when you have like a whole monitor in front of you, as opposed to like, I have just this iPad that I'm carrying with me, probably not even at home. But yeah, this technique is a little different from the way that I usually work, which is that it's a lot more subtractive. I usually work in a much more additive way, where I'm like drawing where the light should be, but doing it in this way, I'm sort of like erasing where the shadows would be instead. That makes sense. It's like, yeah, I'm drawing where the light is, but for the finer details, I'm mostly erasing where the light is not, to form where the shadows go. Too big. What is this line? What are you doing here? Good. Everyone's tired. working in this way is also like a bit weird because all of my muscle memory is telling me to do other stuff. Keep going for the eraser when going for the pen or whatever. Spiciest on stream. I don't think so. I think I drew Jesse like basically the same outfit minus the hat on a stream once. I would classify that as an outfit. Still counts. Should I have said like costume instead? Same MMO glam. Same transmog. Armor. Different stats, same aesthetic. I think I can't really get away from the curve here, so do a curve. Like I had to do for his peak. Can't really not do curve on face. I could, but then he would be like, he would look vastly different from his face is just round. Ooh. Think. Kind of figuring out how I want this shadow to go here. I think be that. Not sure. The other thing that's like difficult about doing the light in this way is that another one of the things that I do a lot of is like just draw a shape and then fill it with color, like a paint bucket style situation. That doesn't correct. But I can't really do that with technique here. It's going. It's just that they're not like lined up. I'll come back to this spot in a minute. Tried to do a base this technique drawing from yesterday, and I think it only kind of worked because of the pose he was in. How the light was hitting his face in that pose specifically. I may have to find out when I get to the shadow portion. Essentially the same as what I'm doing now. Verse. Think cross. I think that was part of the problem. Putting everything in the wrong order. Keep doing it. Here. But almost certainly not putting it there anyway. And with some of these shapes, probably not accurate. Mega Man, hello. How are you? All is well. Doing great? That's great. Glad to hear it. I am doing alright. Warmer than I would like. But other than that. Long time no see here. Hasn't been that long, has it? I feel like it's. I did a junior. It's been 84 years. Do one pass. One is gonna be like the way that we usually go. Or additive methods. Maybe. You're just too busy farm cows. Too busy for oops. Um, Love the last one of Jesse. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. People seem to really like that one. That. sometimes when I do a thing where I'm just thinking through stuff really hard, I forget that I'm streaming. If I ever start to get very quiet, remind me to. Not entertaining. Sometimes you really focused on. Trying to brightest parts of these, but things that's really easy to get carried away with. I just want to highlight part of it. I don't everywhere that I added light to. With that last layer. A little bit. Realistically, there would probably be like creation of is for this. I'm not gonna do much. Yeah. I guess that's post note. Just like the layer before, of working with my usual methods. Drawing in those would be. Shape of your workout routine is? Yeah. What's your workout? Here are your notes with the rest of it. Maybe someone inspired to write themselves. Be fitness buddies. Do you do the One Punch Man routine? The 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and run for however long? And 5 minutes gym. 80 minutes Wii Sports. 175. Nice. Is it like super intense dancing? Didn't finish this. Where? Oh, it's probably this. Dances that make you work up a sweat. For me, that's like most dances to be. But again, that part where I exercise, so keep that in mind, I guess. So that's great. You're making steps towards your goals. For that, I am proud of you. And I haven't played Just Dance in such a long time. when the Connect was a thing people used still. That's a lot of dancing. Impressed. Is it all dancing games, or do you like go to a place and like dance with people also? Secretly mega skilled at salsa dance. I'm sure there's probably like, well, maybe in these post-pandemic times it might be a little bit harder to find, but like a dancing class or something would probably have like lots of folks around willing to dance, I would imagine. That's where no one's around. That's cool too. Game free zone, you can dance when and wherever you like. You could be dancing right now. I would have no idea, unless you like told me. Also, yes, drink water. Do that. Also, I can. Also. Got done doing some dances. Nice. Been a doodling and dancing stream for you the whole time. Nobody even knew. I suppose it would be hard to type that in chat while dancing, though. I can dance like Beyonce. Or there are folks who would love to join you. Spontaneously break into most times with stuff like that, folks are just looking for someone to start it, join it. looking at chat whenever you're done with a song. You're just too good a performer. Too committed to the moves. Oops. Don't blame you though. The rhythm is gonna get you. After all. It do be like that. Like an old toy. I mean, there are plenty of dance moves that look like that. Count yourself out. Maybe it's just the next dance craze. Quite caught on yet, but it will soon. With like this many lyrics always make me nervous that I'm gonna like content ID'd. Finally got around to doing the thing that I had been to do. Theme music, which was usually I have like 2 or 3 kind of playlists from folks who their the non-content ID style music. So I finally combined all those things into like one Spotify playlist. And removed all the ones that got tagged in the past for content ID. Some of them get flagged. Not supposed to. I want to try and stay angular, but for spots like this shadow I'm putting in on his thigh and stuff, can't really stay with the hard angles too much. Welcome back. Glad you've got internet. Not having internet is such a huge pain these days. Content ID still can get you on Twitch, but it is less frequent on Twitch than it is on YouTube. But since these go up on YouTube after, I have still gotten the YouTube notice of like, hey, these are not gonna get you any money. Even though I don't make money from these anyways. They'll just kind of not have random content ID strikes, you know? Gotta be careful, indeed. Never know when them DMCAs are gonna come for you. There was a lot of buzz in the news super long ago about those though, so if there's any progress come up that on the YouTube side specifically. Remember there being a lot of like companies that were like trying to get YouTube to change because they kept getting DMCA'd on their own things. I know it happened to Bungie, and I can't remember who else it happened to, some other game company. The Bungie one was pretty funny though. Like, they went to upload a trailer, and then the trailer got DMCA'd for using music on their own channel. They were like, what? And evidently everyone on YouTube has been saying these things for years and years to YouTube. No, I've heard people complain about it in videos and stuff, but always interesting to see them large corporations go after corporations. Men in Black. They're coming. They'll, like, wipe your memory or whatever. Well, I guess it depends on which version of the Men in Black. The, like, movie version. Or the, like, scripted version that may or may not really be out there. Depending on who you ask. I don't remember the specifics of that one. Other than they just kind of like don't quite look right. I want to say they smell weird. I I think there was a detail about them smelling weird in a podcast I listened to. I can't remember if that's a thing or not. How we getting more boys? Oh no. Gotta save me from the aliens. Or I'll never get to finish all of my stupid stories. Here now, happening. Trying to be like accurate with these lines, but also I'm trying to not take forever fixing them. Is times a very annoying to improve your English. I'm glad that we could help. Tired coffee, hello. Yes, I was resisting the urge to spoil a D&D thing I want to do with some friends. About a campaign I want to run that I think would be super neat. And I was. Oops. Run it, run it. It's not up to me. It's up to my friends. We were planning on doing another thing. So if they want me to run it, I will definitely do that. But it's up to them. Why not both games? Because it's already such a struggle to get everyone together for the one game. Everyone has busy lives and stuff. reminds you of, oh yeah, boy Theo. Kind of where he started was me wanting to do a D&D thing, but not having done one in a while. And then we started like regularly playing, so I don't urge as much to draw a D&D thing anymore. Hungry to play a game. I know the feeling. It is a powerful urge. Comedy campaign. That sounds like it'll be tough. I feel like trying to do a campaign like with this explicit objective of being funny is much harder than just doing a campaign and letting the funny happen naturally, because it's usually pretty funny at some point. Only RPGs like Genshin. Yeah, I highly recommend D&D to anyone who has never played. Or just any like tabletop RPG, I suppose, in general. It's one of those things that like gets a bad rap for being ridiculed in like every 80s movie ever, but if you actually give it a chance, it's like, I haven't really ever like recommended it to someone and then have them actually play it and then them walk away not enjoying it in some capacity. Like, it's almost always a good time, as long as you're with like a decent group of folks. A game with comedians and entertainers. Oh. That makes a little more sense then. Oops. It's a little easier to do like a funny thing when all the people who are playing are funny. Like professionally. It's just you and your casual, not funny comedian friends. Much different experience in general. more popular there. Yeah. You can always try like online someplace. Sometimes find online communities that will play those games. But it's like, as someone who is currently playing online because all of my friends are too far away, it's not the same as when you're in the room with them. It's a lot more fun. You can sit around the table and kind of talk about the goofy stuff you're about to do. Come up with terrible plans and stuff together. See the look on your DM friend's face when your group of friends concocts a stupid scheme. Harder to see on a voice chat type of setting. Yeah, online is a lot easier, especially after that whole, global pandemic thing sort of kicked off. A lot of things suddenly needing to be online. So online tools for things have become much better than they used to be. But it's there now. I'm once again trying to not fall into the trap of shading all of the areas that I just shaded, but slightly darker. Trying to stick to places that would just be like noticeably different in terms of light and dark they would be. Oh no. thinking about? I don't know. Stuff. Probably something going on in the fields. I don't know if he has that much time to be worried about Jesse. Like, I imagine they probably still keep up every now and again, but it's probably not that serious. Like, they probably keep in touch in the same way that you would keep in touch with, like, a friend that you had from school. Or it's like if you thought of them or experienced a thing. It's like, oh yeah, this person would like that. I haven't spoken to them in a while. Let me talk to them. Like, they have those kind of interactions at this point. Although he probably, like, Junior probably would call Jesse with, like, random tech support questions, and Jesse would probably call him for, like, random advice about life stuff, I would imagine. Here. Ah. Is that anything? Not really. About this. A little better. Thinking about dinner. Yeah, probably. What am I gonna eat? Oh, that's and the answer wasn't. Don't. I'm going to do it down. Don't really want to do too much for the same reason that I was trying the urge earlier to go back over all the areas that I had already shaded. We want these parts to be like the darkest parts. They stand out. If all the parts are the darkest parts, then everything looks too dark. You know? Oops. Yeah, I guess that's fine. This beam. Some. Or. Here. I think that's fine. Probably. I want our sort of like outside guy area be like not quite the brightest thing, but pretty close. But these actual highlights on him would be the brightest. I'm just gonna duplicate that layer and add to it on here. Doing the lighting this way is usually kind of like interesting looking. Oh geez, when it's done. Why are you? Probably why. But doing it in this way, like it takes such a much longer time. Although it's probably because I usually don't do the lighting first. Specifically because when there's no other color there, I tend to get very carried away with the lighting stuff. But because there's no flat colors for anything, I'm almost assuredly going to Well, I guess I already have at this point. Done like way more lighting layers than I should have. Probably. Or normally would have. There we go. Okay. So for now, all these off. Everything. Put all of those up here. Now I'm gonna do color stuff. But the difference is, normally I would color everything. This time I'm only going to color character, since that will hopefully work out when I get to there in a minute. But essentially what I'm going to do is only have the color on the character and then sort of put all of that together and turn down the opacity and let the color from the background sort of bleed through everything and the colors from the lighting sit on top of everything. So that way all of the color sort of goes together, even though the colors that I'm using for the character wouldn't normally necessarily fit this palette. Like it would normally stand out far too much and look completely irrelevant and like totally divorced from the other things that are going on in this image. So doing it in this way, it's like one step above having everything be like a single palette and consistent. So I still get that like, oh, got these freckles and these tan lines kind of.
A fine kind of bear he turned out to be.
Aru.
He didn't even know how to act like a bear.
Hello. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. Mm-hmm. One of the upsides to doing so many layers, values, I can just kind of let all of my lighting decisions sort of define some of the more subtle shapes instead of having to worry about like putting down lines that are not quite as noticeable or something. About to sleep, just drying your hair. I'm just drawing, so, you know, keeping it chill. We got a junior drawing today. Link for the playlist. Oh, hold on. There you go. It's just a mix of stuff from Chillhop Radio and Walking Dog Entertainment. Both are places that let you use their music for like streaming and stuff. I've taken off all of the songs that I've run into that have gotten me flagged. Which hasn't been a lot. But also this playlist is like 78 hours long, so there are quite a few songs I probably still haven't even heard. This. Doing skin tones for him always takes the longest because he has so much like random variation. Find myself having to account for. Too much on it. Oh yeah. This. lighter than normal. Goes. I think I'm gonna just do like much lighter, and then just for the sake of being able to see it, turn it down here in a minute. That looks like. Problem is that it usually looks pretty good, like on the darker spots, but not on the like lighter spots. Having to pull separate color for separate spots. Again, he takes way longer to draw than it feels like he should. Okay, so those. I think now I can finally do eye color. Yes, I do. Love all those blushy lips made also. This color, eyes, irises, hair, so many steps for this friend. It's like so many different colors for each step. It's like Ra's has a lot of steps, but his are all the same, like 2 colors. Oh, I forgot his hat is to say something. What should his hat say? It has to be one word, and it has to be kind of short. There's PKG. No. Mostly because I don't want to deal with all of the comments that are going to be like, what's PKG? Then I'll have to be all like, you had to be there on the stream. You wouldn't understand. Go with this color so that it's still kind of close to the other colors in our palette here. You know, maybe I'll just do if you know instead. I feel like that's too long, actually, even in its abbreviated form. I'm thinking like 5 letters max, preferably like 3 or 4. It's gonna look like a Pokemon hat. I feel like red trucker hat with the like white part on the front always reminds me of Pokemon hats. That's not normally the case. I can't look at a red hat with like a white panel and not think about Pokemon. One little, felt like it was too close to next to it. Gray, please. I could maybe make this fit. His hats always end up looking extra weird the second I put text on them because it's not like proper perspective. Someday I'll learn how to properly draw a hat. Too long. It's just a stream. doesn't say Supreme, it says... says... Purposely not reading it in the hopes that you guys will say it. Or I guess in chat. That will be proof to me that legible. Understand. No one can tell what that says. I'll have to change it. Hopefully it's sort of like... color on the hair. Oh. Near the hat, not noticeable, but it's kind of buggy. If it's like 1 pixel, I don't care. Because you're not going to see it when it's fully shrunk down. Beneath that layer, the skin flattened. Down just a little bit. Other stuff on top of it will kind of... had to wait until all the other stuff was on top of it. Really figure out what the color of these whiskers would be. Okay, so mess these colors just a little bit. fine. I'm gonna put that. It's kind of darken up these eyes a little bit more. Put it above a couple layers, I think. Put it here. Just so you can more clearly see where eyes are there. Do another layer. Color hold stuff. The color of his whiskers again. Gonna need to be a little. We really only want the parts that are essentially like gonna be in direct contact with like the brightest bright parts to be getting these. Line color adjustment, aka color holds, aka line fill, aka coloring in the line part. Whatever it is that you prefer to call it. Oh, that's right, I did forget his freckles. Yes. I just forget they not as many. Browse has freckles all over, but Junior's are pretty much all concentrated on like his head and neck area. I'm gonna turn it down less than I had it before. Oh wait, I can just do this. I always forget that I can just... Oh, I guess now I can't. spot. These little spots. Deceptively noticeable. How about this spot? Oh yeah, nice going, Maximus. Keep up the awesome progress and stuff. We're rooting for you. Any other spots that need this? Here. Sure. And one other thing here. Blur dodge, I guess. Blur this. Or yeah. Who is trickier to draw? Each of them has, well, no, that's not true. I would say either Junior or Kai. They both have like details about them that are slightly more tricky, perhaps. Let me just try this. Like these. Like weird look. Oh, but you know what? Beneath anything. Isn't doing anything. Weird. I guess because it was not the right blending mode. Just want to darken up darks a little bit more. Yeah, because that's like way bright. A little better. Yeah, I would say probably either him or Kai are the trickiest. Him because he's got a lot of random little details, and Kai because Kai's tattoos are not the most complicated, but depending on the position of like his arms and legs, they can be very annoying to draw, because foreshortening is horrible to deal with. Ooh. Ooh. Sure. Pretty neat look. Let's try this one. Try. I usually don't like to do more than like 3 of these. After that, they start to get like really weird. Something like that, I guess. And I just gotta sign it. Say, go down here. Yeah. And I'll say that that's a drawing. Down. One pixel down here. And I guess that's it. I think that will be it for this one. Let me hit that there replay. Thank you all for joining me here. Yet another chill time. Drawing friends. Yeah. That'll do it for me here this time around. I should be back again on like Wednesday, probably. But we'll see. can never be sure. Right, Mr. Playing Overwatch. But yeah. Oh, PJ, I didn't even see that you followed. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, you wanna see this drawing and more like it? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. The same name is here, where I post all of these when they're done. I have no idea how to say your name, person who followed just now, but thank you for your follow. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I should be back again in a couple of days, probably around this time, also most likely. So yeah, until I see ya again, have a wonderful evening or afternoon or whatever time of day it is for you. And have a lovely rest of your week. And go out and do something nice for someone. Just for the sake of being nice to someone, you know? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Farewell. Thank you for hanging out. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye, everybody. Later.